When I was a firefly, said little Narina one day to her father, as a swarm of these insects flashed through the night like a golden shower. When I was a firefly, I used to go quite alone through the wood without being the least bit afraid, but now I don't even dare, as far as the meadow alone in the dark. My little girl was a wonderful memory, said her father. With a smile, little Narina's words came to me one evening as a firefly alighted on some flowers I was carrying and patiently allowed itself to be taken home with me. I placed the flowers in water, and as long as the room was light, the firefly lay quite still. But as soon as I had gone to bed and put out the light, it began to glow uneasily. Who knows what is concealed within you? I thought. A star, said the firefly, and hovered over the bed. Hardly a star, I answered, but perhaps a mortal. God forbid, said the firefly. That would be too dreadful, for then I should never see my glowworm again. But it all comes from the fall. What do you know about the fall? I asked laughingly. Who should know if not I? For the punishment has fallen upon me as well. If only I had obeyed my mother. Come, I said, if you have nothing better to do, tell me the story of your fall. I promise in turn to give you back safely to your glowworm. The firefly began. I was a star, and not one of the smallest either, and I sat up there in the sky and was very happy. You cannot imagine how glorious a star life is, but I was very inquisitive, and my mother often said to me, beware of the fall, and I promised to beware and never to leave her side. But when autumn came, I longed for some change, and the same relentlessness seized thousands of my companions. We started out in multitudes. What a wonderful journey it was. We flew so fast that no one thought of stopping us, and so happy we were that when anyone called out to us, we granted them a wish. For you know, we stars have the power to fulfill any wish asked of us on our travels. I do not know how it happened, but suddenly a dreadful giddiness seized me. It drew me down, and I plunged headlong through space. My comrades could not have fared better, for I heard afterward that on that day thousands of shooting stars had fallen. My fall was so rapid that I could not endure it. My light went out, and I died. Did you ever die? I shook my head. Not that I know of, I said. Then you have no idea how horrible it is. An icy wind pierced my soul and body and took away my breath, and something cold fell away from me and dropped heavily to the earth. See this stone? I heard a voice close by me say. It wouldn't be a bad paperweight. When I came to myself, I was lying in the hair of a beautiful queen who was taking an evening walk through her garden. Many of her courtiers were crowding about me, clapping their hands and crying, "Oh, see, the beautiful star." I was happy. I felt free as air and thought I must be light itself. Then I noticed that one of the court ladies held a black stone in her hand. That was I thought, with a shudder. All at once a voice cried, "Good heavens, it is nothing but an ugly brown worm." "It is not a worm," said a learned man. "It is a firefly, Lampiris nohicula. It flies by night over meadows and fields and gives out a phosphorus light. The female sits in the grass and glimmers likewise." "I don't want any worms or beetles around me," cried the queen, striking at me. Many awkward hands reached out to seize me, but I darkened my light and slipped through their fingers and flew away. I crept into a crevice of a wall and was very sad. Then the words of the scholar suddenly came to me. The female sits in the grass and glimmers likewise. He surely must know, thought I, and my curiosity was aroused to see what she was like. I flew over the field, and there on a blade of grass I saw such a charming light that I was captivated on the spot. "Good evening, little glowworm," I said. "You have the sweetest light I have ever seen." The glowworm bade me a friendly good evening and said, "I have no wings and must always sit here alone. Will you not keep me company? But you must always stay by me and never fly away from me." "I will stay with you as long as I live, for I love you," I said, and I meant it, for she glowed so bewitchingly that even when I was a star, I sat in the heavens and never saw anything more beautiful. But in an unlucky moment, you came by with your flowers, and out of pure curiosity, I alighted on them, and now I can never return to my glowworm. But must I here? Oh, death is so painful, and whatever follows is still worse. What is it that follows? I asked compassionately. You have said it yourself, and I know it too. I must become immortal. That is the worst thing that can happen to me. Why, it's not so bad as you think, I said to reassure him, but he would not be comforted. Of course it is horrible, he moaned. If I had only listened to my mother, this would have never befallen me. When I was a star, I was always told that it was the worse than anything else. You can neither fly nor glow, and I dare not ask how it is with you in any other respects. But, I said, we can still hope to fly some day, and as for glowing, why, we only shine the brighter within. Yes, but who knows that for certain, he said. I can never return to my mother, for my stone is probably adorning the album of the court lady. If I only knew if I should find my little glowworm in the other life. Perhaps you will find her again, and then she will be a lovely girl. But I don't want any lovely girl. I want my glowworm. As I started up to let him out, I struck my head against the wall and awoke. All was dark within the room. As soon as it was morning, I took up the flowers to look for the firefly. He lay quite dead in the heart of a blossom, and his light was gone out. As I went downstairs, my host met me with a beaming face. Do you wish to see a little stranger? He asked. A little one was born to us last night. Poor firefly, I thought to myself as I followed my friend. In a darkened room lay a newborn baby. As I entered, he began to cry vigorously. Poor little creature, I murmured as I took the baby in my arms. If you had only obeyed your mother, you would not have been seized by that dreadful giddiness, and you'd be shining up there in the skies, a beautiful star. And now you have lost your glowworm, and who knows what will become of you. What are you holding forth about over there? Asked the father, half laughing, half angry, taking the child away from me, at which it only cried harder. Oh, I think I have been dreaming, I answered softly. But that evening, as I was walking home through the meadows, I saw a tiny glowworm growing alone in the grass. I carried it home with me and gently laid it on the pillow by the child, and the little one smiled suddenly as though a memory dawned upon him. This has been Fireflies by Ysolde Kurz, published in Short Stories, a magazine of select fiction, Volume 11, 1892, narrated by Conan Stewart for Tales Reawakened on YouTube.